Random thought. What's the craziest thing you've ever done just for shits and giggles?
Only craziest thing I could think of was jumping out of a plane in 2020, in February.
And then wash, rinse, repeat, do it again in 2022. You know, you're right. And before that, mine doesn't sound that crazy when you think about it. I mean, I'm sure there were some wild and crazy things like jumping in the middle of fights in a club when I'm 140 pounds soaking wet, just trying to break it up so we can keep the party going. But I think the craziest thing for me before jumping out of a plane with you was jumping off a cliff. And why? Because I have acrophobia. And I'm there. This is my first big trip with my wife. You know, we're not married yet, so she could still say no. And here I am about to chicken out going off a cliff. And so I would have to say that was it. So anything that's crazy for me is always going to deal with heights because I just have this crazy fear of heights.
Yeah. Well, doesn't sound like it. At least from what I've seen, it doesn't look like it anymore. Maybe you've overcome it.
Yeah, about that. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Yonni Terryl.
And I'm just Terryl. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Well, we are those people, and we've been having these conversations since college.
Yes, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast, episode 83. Be sure to like, subscribe, and definitely leave a comment.
You know, we've been talking about this because a couple months ago, you kind of made... You know, you're always the one making these deals with the devil, and you kind of, I don't want to say you made me make a deal with the devil, you just kind of almost forced me into this deal.
What if we say, I will openly, excitedly commit to Married at First Sight, season 14.
Okay.
If you say that, Terrell, when I come to Austin, we're both going to go skydiving and jump out of an airplane. Virtual pinky swear.
Hold on, let me text my wife first, see if that's okay.
You got insurance, right? You got insurance, you got life insurance, you're covered. Virtual pinky swear.
Honey, go ahead and increase the life insurance real quick.
No, all you need is $1 million life insurance. It's $100 a month. Get yourself cremated. Don't buy a casket. It's cheaper. So, virtual pinky swear.
All right, here we go.
All right, we're doing this. This will make me feel better about going through season 14.
Here's the thing about it. If you notice, Terrell never realized that I had a fear of heights because we've never been in a situation where there were heights involved. So he wouldn't have known that, right? And the first thing that clicked in his mind was, oh, you have a fear of heights. Come jump out of a plane with me. I want you to understand the kind of friends we are here, okay?
Yeah, I'm the kind of friend that's going to try to push you to your limits to help you evolve.
No, I think you had it right the first time. Push you out the plane.
Everybody can use a little nudge in life.
So the thing about this is you had done this before. And, you know, it was kind of like, I've known people like J-Rock who's been on the podcast before, and he had done it. I think he's done it like 5 times now. After he went the first time, he was hooked. But you went, what made you go do it the first time?
So this was February 2020. And during that time, I was just, doing a lot of self-reflection. And I was thinking to myself, like, I don't have a thing. You know, you have certain friends that, they work on cars or they build cars. They, have gardens that I think that's their focus. They're involved in community stuff. They just have a thing that they regularly do. And right. I realized I don't have a thing. I just, work and drink whiskey. And so I was thinking about that movie, Yes Man with Jim Carrey, where they tell him, like, just say yes to stuff and try some things. So I'm at this bar, New Braunfels, and, you have Chive TV on and you see all these random videos. There's videos of people jumping out of a plane. And the guys I'm sitting there drinking with, they're like, we should do that. And I looked up and I was like, yes, we should. Let's do it. And I went straight to the website from my phone, registered, signed up. And they're like, yeah, we're going to sign up tomorrow. I'm like, awesome, we're all going to do this. Well, I'm the only one that did it. They all backed out.
They all sobered up and were like, oh, hell no.
Yeah. So they were all backed out of the deal. But it was something I always wanted to try to do. And I figured I'm not gonna chicken out because everyone else said they're not going. So I went ahead and drove out there, and it was a great experience. It was just amazing. And so I'm like, I'm definitely gonna do this again. I even paid, like, right when you get done jumping, you can pay another $99 for another jump, but you have to pay it like right after your first jump.
Right.
And it doesn't expire. And thankfully it didn't expire because I was able to use it recently.
Yep. You know, it's interesting. I think the thing that surprised me the most about this is that you actually went on your own to do it, because it would have been easy to back out of it, right? So especially you did it. Well, not really, because you paid the money, but you you did it. You signed up for it in this conversation, and then everybody else backs out, and you still go, you know what? No, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah. I mean, don't talk about it, be about it. If you're going to do something, do it. Plus, I already signed up. So
While it surprised me a little bit, as I reflect on it, it really doesn't, because it goes back to the days when we were in college and people would go, I don't want to go to class. Well, don't go. But I got to go. All right, then shut up and go. Don't complain, And it seems like it's that same mentality when you decide, all right, you know what? I signed up. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think once I make my mind up, this is what I'm going to do, then full steam ahead. This is happening. And wouldn't change it for the world. And highly recommend other people. Try at least once.
A lot of people, after they saw the pictures, like, yeah, but more power to you. Some people are like, yeah, man, I can't wait. I want to try it. And it's one of those things that I always tell people, like, I had a personality who didn't know how to swim. And she was like, well, I'm going to go to the YMCA. I'm going to, learn to swim. I'm like, all your vacation pictures are in the ocean. She's like, yeah, but I'm standing up in ankle deep water. I'm like, okay, good point. You couldn't have told me that she didn't know how to swim, right? And it's just, okay, well, make sure you share the fact that you're going to go learn to swim on air, because she thought that she was going to be the oldest person in that swimming class. I said, I bet you're probably going to be the youngest person. Sure enough, she was the youngest person. And the minute she shared on the air that, hey, I'm going to go learn how to swim, so many people just dialed in with her like, hey, I don't know how to swim either. I've always wanted to do it, but I've been scared. And that's the thing. People have this fear of things, fear of the unknown, right? Like her fear was also she's going to be the oldest person there. She's going to be in there with 5-year-olds like, hee, you don't know how to swim. Come to find out, no, she's the youngest in there. And, and there are a lot of other people who are thinking the exact same thing.
True. And I think that there is that fear. I think with skydiving, for me, it was, what's the worst that'll happen? And whatever the worst is, that means I'm done. Like you don't see somebody coming to class on crutches. Yeah, skydiving accident. Crazy weekend. Chute didn't open. Bounce 5 times. Only needed 5 stitches. But I'm here.
The crazy thing is, because of course we make this deal, and I don't tell my wife about it. But this is also how I know she watches the episodes, right? This is how I know she watches our podcast, because she goes, skydiving? Really? I'm like, oh, she watched the episode.
Oh, you heard that.
And you made a deal that it had to be before a specific time.
But I will add this caveat.
Uh-oh.
We have to do this before April 2022. You know why I said it. Everybody else doesn't know, but you know why I said it. But we got to do this before April 1st, 2022.
Yeah.
You got to bring your black ass to Austin, and we're going to do that.
You made this time period a specific time for a reason, because yes, I'm married, but we never had the wedding because it got pushed back 2 years because of COVID, as people didn't want to wear their masks, and I want my freedom, and then the next variant, the next variant, the next variant. So here we are 2 years later, and we're having the wedding, and you're like, no, we got to do it before the wedding. So, which of course put her in some sort of a panic, right? Like, why would you jump out of a plane? And I get it.
Yeah, and that's all that whole training video was. It's
Yes.
not quite. The whole video was them pretty much saying, look, it's not our fault. And by you signing, you're saying it's not our fault. Now, these are things that could happen that would not be our fault if they happened.
My favorite part of that video was when they said, and if you decide to take us to court, you agree to pay for legal fees and for the settlement. Wait a minute. So if I win, I got to pay me.
You got to pay your lawyer, their lawyer, and then give yourself a little extra of your own money. And then even if you're on the plane and you decide, I don't want to do this, you still don't get your money back.
Yeah. You just had a free plane ride. So let's go back to, I came down to Austin for the weekend, right? And here it is. I'm constantly making these jokes this entire time. And is it because they're the easy jokes to make, or is it because I'm nervous? I would say it's because it's easy jokes to make, right? Like we go out to eat dinner at a great restaurant, and I'm like, all right, last meal.
Yeah, I was like, why are you speaking this type of stuff into existence? So I thought that was just you trying to cope with you being nervous about what was going to happen the next day. But if that was our last meal, it was delicious. I mean, those smoky old fashions.
Oh yeah, those were amazing.
Smoky old fashions were good. I think
hanging bacon. What the hell is hanging bacon? I've never heard of this in my life before. But hanging bacon, which is basically bacon dipped in honey and just hanging on this thing.
Hanging bacon is phenomenal. If you want to check it out, it's Double Cut Steakhouse. It's in the Kalahari Resort in Round Rock, Texas. So look that up. Check out their menu. If you're ever in the area, go get it. But I've been there many times, and all the food I've had there is good. But that smoky old-fashioned thing, just watching it, just letting the smoke sit in the cube and just get that right flavor, can't beat it.
Now, if you're trying to get away with your boo for the weekend, that is not the resort to go to because there's nothing but families and kids. There's a lot of kids. If you want to take the family, it's a great place to go. I will say that. I mean, because there's a lot of stuff for them to do. It was great to look at it because I'm like, so this is going to be my life in the next couple of years. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. But the steakhouse, that's adults.
The steakhouse is adults.
Yeah, and steakhouse totally adults. And then they have like a little piano bar that's right next to it that you can go in there, have more cocktails, and it's adults only. So go check it out. But yeah, it's a lot of kid energy running around the rest of the resort. So
we get up the next day, and it's interesting, right? Because, there are no nerves to me. And then, because even you were asking, like, hey, you nervous? You this? I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because I knew when I would get nervous.
I was more curious to see how you were going to be feeling. And so I was excited. I'm like, let's do this because I know that feeling and that rush, that adrenaline rush you get from doing this. Mm-hmm. And so, we're, getting ready and I'm just like, all right, let's go jump out of a plane.
You heard it, man. It's time to go jump out of a plane. I'm always going to wear a girl dad shirt when I get on a plane. It feels like my good luck charm. Take my baby with me.
My nervous energy is not there because I know when it's going to kick in. Mm-hmm. But when did it kick in for you? Was it while you were still waiting to go on the plane or what?
No, when I went the first time, I didn't have to wait that long at all. It was really checked in, watched the video, go suit up. Like there wasn't a whole lot of downtime. Mm-hmm. What made me more comfortable was the instructors were very sarcastic. And so, sarcasm's my second language. So, they're very sarcastic. So they make you feel a little bit comfortable. But then also you're jumping with people that's all their first jump too. And so you're kind of bonding a bit. And then when you're doing the video and all that stuff, like I felt fine. The first moment I started to get nervous. I wasn't fully nervous, but it started it because you're going to 14,000 feet. And I think we got up to like 3,000 or 5,000 feet. And so the video guy's like, hey, so we're about 3,000 feet up. Da, da, da. And I'm looking down. I'm like, this is good enough. Like we're going higher than this. But I was still all in. I'm all excited. Nervousness hit when we got to 14,000 feet and they opened the door and you have the people that do formation jumps. So they'll always kind of be on the plane. They jump out and you can't really see them. You just see them going out the window or going out the door. And then you're having to scoot closer. Yeah. And nervousness hit me when it was time for me. And I had to stand up and start scooting closer to that door. And I see that edge. That's when I got nervous as hell, just looking down at the edge. And the same thing happened the second time. That I was fine up until I had to start scooting towards the edge. And I'm just like, oh, shit, I'm about to do this. The oh shit moment.
Yeah, the oh shit moment. You spoke about that in the car on the ride there.
Well, it's called the oh shit moment. It's like, oh shit, we're about to do this. And when you go out, now the cool thing is you're not quite jumping. It's like your tandem partner, I think they'll count to 3. So it's like a 1, 2, and then you just fall out. And it's scary for like the first half second, but if you just kind of embrace it and don't focus on the being scared, it's beautiful. It's awesome. But the oh shit moment, that's what you need to be focused on right now.
I thought my oh shit moment would be when I got to the edge of the plane. And it was. Until, and it looks like we're struggling. As you see in yours and in mine, it looks like you're struggling, like you're fighting against the guy, try to walk you to it. No, it's just an uncomfortable way to walk. It's very uncomfortable to walk with somebody strapped to your back and they're like squat and walk. I'm like, I hate doing that in the gym just for the hell of it. And I hate doing it jumping to go look over 14,000 feet. But as I get there, it's fine. We jump. I didn't have to do nothing because literally he pushes you out the plane like he said he's going to do, right? But they say hold on to the straps until you're out. When you're out, I'm gonna tap you on your shoulders, you let go, and it's fine to let go, but don't let go before then. I think I felt him tap me, but I was like, did he tap me or did I just think that? And so I'm holding, and then the strap pops on the left side. So at that moment, everything's running through my mind. The strap pops, I'm like, holy shit. I'm about to detach from this dude and just fall straight down. And then I'm holding, and something just grabbing on strong, still like, okay, what the hell? And then finally, I see the cameraman as he comes in front of me, and that's when I let go, and I just breathe. But before then, because you're falling so fast, from 14,000 feet to 7,000 feet, it takes about a minute, right? And then from that point on, they go, once they look at meter, you see, you'll have 6 seconds. Reach back, find a golf ball, and wait till it hits 6,000, then pull. I'm looking at it, 7, he taps me, so I'm not looking for that anymore. I'm trying to reach. I can't find a goddamn golf ball. I'm reaching, I'm like, son of a bitch. And he told me this ahead of time. This is when you talk about that prep that they give you. He says, if you can't find it immediately, whenever you get it, pull it. Do not wait. And so I'm reaching, can't find. I'm like, son of a bitch, did they move it? And then finally I find it. And as soon as I grab it, I pull it. And the pop that you feel when that happens, it's like, I think the expression's on my face in one of the pictures, because it's just like, I said, I felt like we pulled it late. He goes, oh yeah, we were late. So we pulled the parachute less than 6,000 feet. We probably were maybe 5,500, maybe 5,000 feet when we pulled. But obviously there's this leeway that they give you, you know. So. Right. But yeah.
Same for me, because the part that, the hardest part is, as you said, just going out. But when you're going out, you're just kind of like flipping that weird free fall. That's the thing that just feels so weird. I mean, take being at the top of a roller coaster, and then you come down and multiply that feeling by 10. Like, that's just how crazy it is. And then it's 60 seconds free fall, and you're going at 120 miles per hour. So like, once you level out and you're doing like this, it's not that bad, but it's just that initial fall feels weird. But then when I leveled out, what happened this time, what didn't happen last time, is my goggles weren't, it was weird. It was kind of like jacking, so like I could hardly see out of the left side. So, and I feel like they're about to fly off. And so I'm trying to hold on to my goggles like this. And then I'm, trying to enjoy it. And then I look at the altimeter and I'm like, okay. And I give the sign. And I'm trying to reach back. I couldn't find the deal. And then all of a sudden, I think we both grabbed it at the same time and pulled. And so then, you float up. And so it was like, woo, because then you could take the goggles off and just kind of look at the view. And like, that's the one thing about skydiving I like, is that moment. The rush of the fall is one thing, right? That's the adrenaline rush. But just floating, coming in on the parachute and just looking at the world. And for me, it's kind of therapeutic, because you think about life, right? When you're on the ground, all the shit that's going on in your life seems huge, right? Whether it be work, family, whatever, all your stresses seem huge on the ground. But from, 5,000 feet up on a parachute, looking down, you're like, all those problems down there are really small. And it just changes your perspective to when you get back on the ground, like, don't look at these things as giant mountains. They're little problems. You just got to figure them out, and so that's what I got out of the first time. And that's what I got out of the second time of doing it. Now, I will admit, I did get a little nervous when he would do the, pull, and you just kind of like, woo, and you just swim like, wait, what are we doing?
Yeah, because as speed picks up, you feel like, wait a minute, did something get caught in the chute? I've seen this in the movies before. But, at least you remember to do this. I didn't. Nothing. From the time I jumped out the plane to the parachute being pulled, nothing made sense, because it's so fast. That tumbling feeling, I just knew I was out the plane. I had no idea we flipped. None of that. Because I had no bearing until I saw the cameraman in front of me, because he was in front of me and they got like, hey, and I was like, oh, there you go. Finally, because I got to get this video, right? But you're right. Once that parachute's pulled, all of a sudden, the ringing is gone. As you're clearing your ears, as you're coming down, you still got to keep clearing your ears. You clear them going up, you clear them coming down, right? And just the conversation I'm having with the with my guy on the back, my instructor, and the fact he says to me from the very beginning, before this, and at least it wasn't as bad as he made it sound. He says, once we pull the parachute, I'm going to loosen the harness. You're going to feel a drop. I got you. You're not going anywhere. And so that kind of scared the shit out of me, except when he goes, all right, just stand on my feet. So I stood on his feet and he loosened it and I didn't feel that drop. So he must have realized how nervous I was when we jumped out the plane and was like, all right, let's stand on my feet. You'll be fine.
No, that when they did that to mine, I was like, okay, yeah, go for it. And when he did it, I'm like, oh man, my crotch feels so much better because that stuff was tight.
To your point, looking at the world from up there, man, it's I mean, because it's nothing but a lot of land, right? But the one thing I could see when I looked straight down was the airfield we took off from and the landing zone. I'm like, oh, we're right above it. I had no idea we were right above it. We literally dropped, and that's why he allowed us to free fall even longer past the 6,000, because he goes, we were above the strip, and the landing zone was right below us, so we were going to be fine. And we wouldn't have to, do a whole lot to get back there. So it was interesting. I think I thought my fear would also kick in again the closer we got to the ground, because of course everything starts to get in that space of when you're that high up, you don't think of it, right? And you get closer, but it never did. And allowing us to land and take the controls. Of course, they really have most of the controls. We're doing a little bit of it, but it was cool. I loved it. I was the rush at first, the calm when the parachute's out, the conversations you can have up there, which is crazy to be able to talk, thinking you're that high up still talking to people and, like it's nothing.
Yeah. I think the only part that I didn't like for this one, and maybe they should encourage guys to wear a cup. If you're going to come in and do that butt landing, they tell you lift your legs up. And so you're coming in like this and you just wind up like just scooting down on your butt in the grass. Yeah, I hit a couple bumps that hurt.
Your guy didn't like you that much. He was like, all right, where are the rocks? There, let's go. I thought it was really cool that, they let us also do the video together, and get some pictures at the end.
Hey guys, what are we out here doing today?
Jumping out of a perfectly good airplane.
Having fun.
Perfectly good airplane. Oh yeah. What made you guys want to do something like this?
I've done it before, and so he had me watch a reality show that I hate, and so I said, if I'm going to do this show on our podcast, then you got to do something for me, and it was jump out of an airplane.
Okay, hold on. Let's get this right, okay? Here's the deal. He knows I have acrophobia. He knows I have a fear of heights, so he thought this would scare me. However, joke's on him. I love flying in planes.
I enjoyed it, man. I definitely, it's something I would do again, and I would encourage everybody to do it. If something goes wrong, I did not tell you to do it. But it's such a freeing experience. It's one of those things that, and take it from somebody who has serious case of acrophobia, right? There's nothing more freeing than jumping out of that plane, and then especially once you get that parachute pull, it's just completely different feeling. The world changes at that point. It's so calm. It's amazing.
It does, and then you feel so badass afterwards because you did something. Look at the comments on just some of the things that we posted. Hell no way in the world. You did something that so many people would be totally scared to do and would never do it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even try it. And I think once you get done with that, you're like, I can take on anything. Like, I don't know about you. I felt like I could take on the world after today. Yeah. So it just feels good. And to have people ask you a lot about it, and you're able to tell them, you just see in their eyes where they're just like, nope, not going to happen. But I definitely recommend people to do it. Or I recommend people just to try things and do stuff that might be out of your comfort zone. It doesn't have to be jumping out of a plane. It could be something different. I think there's so much that goes on in the world. And we get so caught up in our own rat race that you got to do something. I call it give yourself a little jolt. And there's no better jolt than jumping out of a good airplane and looking death in the face and being like, yeah, I won.
I felt badass jumping off that cliff in at Xel-Há in Mexico. Yeah, it's a much different feeling jumping out of a plane. And the two guys that jumped with us, Ryan and who was the other guy that?
It was Jameson.
Oh yeah, Ryan.
Jameson, because of whiskey.
Yeah.
That's why I remember now the correlation. Jameson.
Yeah,
it was Jameson that got the video and said he would do it again. The other guy didn't get the video, but he said there's no way in hell he would do it again. Cross it off the bucket list, check, and move on.
Yeah,
but
Ryan, when we got to take off the suits, he still looked shook. I think there was a stain or two in his pants.
Well, and what's cool is it's not about age, right? Because we watched that video of that man that had to have been upper 80s, early 90s that did his first jump.
Yeah.
So you could be any age and give it a shot.
Yeah.
But I highly recommend just doing something just to give yourself a little bit of a jolt and change your perspective on life. It's totally fun. I've done it twice. I believe I will still do it again. I want to do a third jump to say I've done it 3 times. And then I don't know, maybe we can find something else that we can do in 20. Like each year we do something crazy. Not like, jackass crazy, but I mean something crazy.
Something different, something out of the norm.
Something out of our norm to say that, hey, we did this and had this experience.
Yeah, and hopefully at some point my daughter wants to do it and we'll go jump out the plane together. I don't know if my wife is going to do it, so I'm not going to force her to do it. But if my daughter wants to do it, we're definitely doing it again. I definitely want to do it again. I will say, definitely another highlight was when we got to the car and we called my wife. Except you on the FaceTime, not me.
That was you. That was you trying to hey, you should. I'm a FaceTimer, but you talk to her. And I'm like, okay, but how would I be able to open your phone without you if something bad happened?
He landed on his back, so I was able to use his face.
Yeah, so I just opened his eyes and put your phone in front. Like,
I love the first word she said to you was, "Where's my husband?"
Yeah. I was like, hey, so couple things. And she said, "Where's my husband?" I just couldn't hold. I just started laughing. I thought it was funny.
Yes. Love. It begins with those 2 questions.
Yeah. Where's my husband?
Hey, man. Definitely had a blast. Definitely want to do it again. And if you do it, you decide to do it, let us know, man. Share it with us because we definitely, or if there's something else you're going to do that's just out of the norm that you're going to do for 2022. We made it through the pandemic. Fingers crossed, because they keep saying something's coming back. What's the next thing you're going to do? Because it's time to open up and live life, right? Let us know about it. Hit us in the comments below. I'm Yonni Rude.
I'm Just Terryl.
Make sure you follow us at Yonni Rude, at Just Terryl, and at RGRT Pod.
Yes. Send us some of your random thoughts or some of the bullshit you find on the internet. We'll talk about it on the show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.